Okay, you're in the hiring process and you've completed one portion of the process and you haven't heard anything back, but you need to send a correspondence so that you know where you're at. Let's discuss. Before we get started, those gifts are in the description for you. They're going to walk you through each part of the hiring process. That's our Getting Started workshop. It's everything you need to know about what each step of the process looks like and how you can best prepare for it, as well as some hidden bonuses in there for you. Additionally, if you have something specific to your hiring process or a question you want to ask me directly, sign up for a free coaching call. Both of these are my gifts to you, and I look forward to hearing from you or seeing you in either one of those. Now, you've completed the hiring process, or excuse me, you've completed a part of the hiring process, whether that is your physical and written test, whether it's your board interview, your poly, your psychological, your med, part of your background, and a week has gone by, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, or maybe even 4 weeks, and you haven't heard anything. When do you start to panic? When do you start to worry? And how do you send the right correspondence to ask them what the heck's going on? Okay, so what you want to do is you want to start with an email first, and you don't want to start with an email within the first week and a half, right? You want to send that email maybe at the 2-week mark, right? Give them time to reach out to you. And sometimes it takes a while. You submit an application and you may not hear back for 4 months, right? You might submit an application sometime in November, and then the holiday season rolls around and you don't hear from them till February, or maybe you'll hear from them in January. But some months go by and you're saying, what's going on? When do I reach out? Outside of submitting your application, if you don't hear anything, just sit tight. This one doesn't apply for the application, but every other part of the hiring process, you need to find a good time to follow up. Here's how I recommend doing this. If you have a contact, right? They have sent you correspondence via email, and they send you, at the end of it, there's a signature that says, hey, if you have any questions, please respond to Smith Police Department recruitment at whatever.gov. And you have that email. That's where you're going to start. You're going to draft an email, and the email is going to look like something like this. Now it's going to change specifically to where you're at in the process and what you've just recently done, but it'll look like this. All right, it's going to say good morning and nothing else past that, right? Just no names or anything like that, unless you have a direct individual you're emailing back and forth. If this is just to a general recruitment email, it's just good morning. If it's to an individual, obviously put their last name. Good morning, Mr. or Mrs. or officer or sergeant or lieutenant or whatever. Smith, I'm emailing to see if anything else was needed from me. I completed XYZ phase back on this date. Haven't heard anything back. Just looking to follow up to see if I need to complete anything else and what my current status is. It's going to be exactly like that. Very short, very simple. You're going to say, hey, this is me. I'm emailing you to see if you need anything else from me. By the way, why I'm emailing you, I'm just looking to see if there's any current status from the completion of my last hiring phase, whether that was my background or anything along those lines. Respectfully, or very respectfully, or sincerely, or however you sign off of your emails, Frank Magaha, end of story. Now you're going to write that. This is going to be a one-line email. This is me. I'm seeing if you need anything else from me. I completed my last step on this date. I haven't heard anything. Please advise if you need anything additional and where I'm currently at in status. From there, you hit send. But the question is when do you send this email, right? You're going to send this email approximately 2 weeks after you completed your hiring process. If you can wait. But if you're chomping at the bits and you need to know where you're at, wait 2 weeks to send your email, right? And then if you don't hear any, give them a whole week to respond, Monday through Friday. If you don't hear anything, you can either send a follow-up email that Friday or the following Monday. So you completed your board interview, 2 weeks have passed. You're going to send your follow-up email, right? A minimum of 2 weeks. If you can wait longer, but a minimum of 2 weeks. Send your follow-up email looking to see if you needed anything else. I completed my last phase on this date. And if you need anything else, please let me know. Also, can you advise me of my current status? Sincerely, XYZ. And then from there, just hit send. You wait another week. Hopefully they'll get back to you. If they don't, that Friday or at the end of the day, which you know that they're not going to respond to you over the weekend, but at the end of that Friday, if you don't hear anything, you can send a follow-up email, or that Monday. If you can wait longer, wait longer. If you hear back something, obviously don't send a follow-up email. Correspond, as effectively as you need to. But the big thing here is when you send your second follow-up email, right? It's just going to be very simple. Good morning. Just following up with an email I sent a week prior or 2 weeks prior, looking to see what my current status is and if you need anything else from me. And that one's a little bit more direct, right? You're saying, hey, I sent an email already. I haven't heard anything. Just following up again, because you don't want to waste your time, right? You don't want to not know if you're in the hiring process, if they're going to remove you from the hiring process, or if they already have and just haven't told you, because you're waiting on this. And if it takes 4 months to go through a process and they notify you at the end of that process, hey, you weren't selected, then you're wasting time not applying to your other department. So it does behoove you to actually send these follow-up emails. Now, if I haven't heard anything after that, I send that follow-up email, and maybe I'm 3 weeks out, maybe 4 weeks, maybe a little bit more, and I haven't heard anything. I'm going to pick up the phone. Hopefully there is a contact number for recruit status. If not, then you're going to have to call the department's main line or recruitment line, depending on what they have, and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I submitted an application. I've sent a few follow-up emails looking to see if anything else was needed of me and what my current status is, and I haven't heard a response. They may tell you there's nothing they can tell you. Hopefully they'll transfer you to the right individual, and that right individual can relay whatever information is going on. But it is always better to know rather than to not know, because the last thing you want to be doing is waiting 6 months for a department only to find out 6 months down the line that, hey, we removed you from the process, or you were not selected. And they knew this 3 months ago, and you've been not applying to other departments because you've been wanting this department, or you've been waiting for this department. So that's really where it's going to look like. So you wait 2 weeks minimum. Send your follow-up email saying, hey, just following up, looking to see if you need anything else from me. By the way, I completed my last phase on this date, looking for my current status of that. Did I pass? Did I fail? XYZ. From there, you wait another week, see if they've said anything. If they haven't said anything, you send a follow-up email. And the reason you're sending emails is because you want to be able to track that, hey, I've been trying to reach out to you guys. So if you pull yourself out of the process, or if you say, hey, I don't want to work with this department that doesn't communicate effectively, and then they come back to you in 6 months and say, hey, we want to move you along to the background portion or the polygraph portion. And I have seen this, right? 6 months later, because technically there's another hiring bracket that they didn't even tell you they put you in, but their numbers are low. So you don't want to deal with a department that's like that. That's why I help departments also effectively revamp their recruitment process to get away from those type of bad recruitment strategies. But you want to be able to say, hey, I apologize, but I reached out to you guys. I corresponded. You guys failed to get back to me. I've since moved on, and I've began applying to other departments where I've been picked up by another department. And then they don't really have a leg to stand on, right? So the department needs you just as much as you need them, right? They need good officers. And if you're a good officer, you're an asset to that department. So keep that in mind. Yes, you have to jump through these hoops, and yes, you have to join that type of program. But at the same point in time, the goal is to put good officers out on the street. And if you're going to be a good officer, which I know you will be, then you want to make sure that it's a good fit with that department too. So recap one more time. You complete whatever phase was your last phase. You wait 2 weeks. You send a follow-up email. You don't hear anything back. You send another follow-up email that Friday evening or that Monday morning. You give them a couple days. I wouldn't go past that next Thursday. I always like sending emails on Monday because it gives them time to get in there and look at it. It pops up on their desk first thing. It's at the top of their list when they get into work that Monday. And then you wait that next week. So that following Monday, I send another follow-up. Hey, I reached out to y'all. last week or 2 weeks ago, looking to see if you needed anything else in a current status check. Please advise, respectfully, Frank McGaha. And then from there, I give it a day. Well, I give it about 2 days. I go to Wednesday. I won't go past Thursday. Thursday, I'm picking up the phone and I'm making a phone call and I'm saying, hey, just following up. I want to know where I'm at in the process because I need to know, like, are you guys considering moving forward with me? And if you're not, kind of respectfully, you don't say this, of course, but don't waste my time, right? Don't waste my time. I need to know if I'm not in your guys' process because there's other departments. This is my dream position. There's other departments that are open and I'm eligible for. I want to apply to them. And that's pretty much what it's going to look like. So keep all that in mind. It's nothing crazy, but that's the timeline that you want to work on. If you haven't heard anything, I would say in 2 months, at that point in time, it's safe to say that you're probably not getting picked up on this cycle. Now, I have seen departments, let me rephrase it. I'm not saying it's safe to say that, but I have seen departments wait that long because it's taken that long to do a background. But to go 2 months without correspondence it's just unprofessional in my mind. I would never do that to a candidate that we were looking to hire ever, just because what happens if that candidate says, you know what, I haven't heard from them, so I'm going to take this other position. I'm investing all this money on their background, and I just wasted it because they took another position due to my unprofessional conduct of not reaching out. So keep that in mind. If you went that long, if you're at 2 months, you're kind of looking at the point where, am I getting picked up on this offer, or are they pushing me to the next offer and they just don't want to tell me I'm not getting picked up because they don't want to lose me, or they want to keep me in their back pocket in case someone drops out? These are all considerations that you have to kind of keep in mind. So as always, those gifts still down in the description, the Getting Started Workshop, all those hidden bonuses in there, plus it's going to walk you through each phase of the hiring process. That is where you start. That's why we call it Getting Started. So Getting Started Workshop. Next, that one-on-one call with me. If you have something specific to your hiring process, or you have a specific question that may pertain to you, or just in general, I'd be glad to sit down, answer it for you, and go from there. As always, stay safe, and I'll talk to you next time.